Hey everybody, greetings from the dirt bag. You know that if I'm in here, it means you're getting another behind the scenes look at my family's greenhouse and nursery in Posen, Michigan. So this week started off with me making the trip back from my home in the Upper Peninsula, back here to Posen. And when I arrived, I was expecting to be unloading 2 trucks. But to my surprise, the trucks had already been unloaded by the time I got home. They were here at like 6:30 in the morning. Unfortunately, between my dad, my nephew, and one of our other employees, they were able to get everything unloaded. So the rest of the day was really like getting the counts on those deliveries and pricing and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of a busy day, but still pretty nice. It means that we have a lot of our inventory here. We're probably at about 75% for perennials, trees and shrubs. So that's kind of nice to see all these plants in. We do have more coming though. So actually it's probably not 75%, it's probably more like 65 or 70%. So still a lot more to come, but it's good to have that stuff. Also wanted to introduce you to this new Gerbera daisy that we have, and these are the plants that we were trying out. I picked this one because it has this beautiful kind of blaze pattern with the yellow on the inside, the orange on the outside. I think it's just gorgeous. We're so happy with how these Gerbera daisies are doing. We didn't know. I mean, my parents grew them years ago and they were a little finicky, and these newer varieties have been fantastic. So big relief. Also had some time to plant up some containers as well. So if you've been following the channel, you probably have seen some of those videos, and people seem to really appreciate those and they're enjoying them, and I love your comments on those. You guys are also giving me more ideas for the next plantings that I do. So that's been a lot of fun, and we've been planting up stuff just for customers and for the public and all that kind of stuff as well. So lots of planting going on. I also had a special guest this week. So you may have seen the video with Eli. He's the young Gardener Extraordinaire. That kid's so much fun. He comes in, he loves his plants, and it's funny because when he first came, like, it was all about plants and dinosaurs. Now he's got all these other interests. He's in karate, he's cooking, he has all these little science interests. We were talking about YouTubers. He has some favorite YouTubers. Some of them have candy that he likes, and he brought me some. So it was really nice to have him around. He did his picks. I do encourage you guys to watch that video, and please go on over there and just leave him a comment. He is reading them, and he loves that you guys kind of listen to him. And I mean, let's face it, the kid knows plants and he likes to talk about them, and so it's worth watching and hearing what he has to say. I kind of interject quite a bit too. So between the two of us, I think we cover some good ground. Then the other thing that happened, I do have a little surprise. I shipped someone some plants, but that video is going to go up next week sometime. So that's kind of on hold. Sorry, I have to cough because this stuff is dusty. Ugh. I should probably wet the soil, or I should maybe stop playing with it so I don't choke myself. Other things that went on today, we did have a perennial pop-up sale because our perennials in Greenhouse 7 are looking fantastic. I'm so pleased with how healthy they're doing, how great they're doing. It was just really nice. So that's something we've been doing for the last couple of years, where we just have this little pop-up sale. This year we did it on Thursday, and then on Saturday people come in, they get a preview of all the plants. They can buy them right away if they want, or if they just want to browse, they're welcome to do that. It's just really nice. It's a lot of fun to get back into it with people who are excited about gardening, because the people who come to the pop-ups are usually kind of more your diehards. They're people who actually have flower beds and they like their perennials as well. So it's a lot of fun talking to them, but I have to admit it's also a little hard to have to start sharing the plants because we've had them all to ourselves all this time, and there is some kind of nice rhythm that kind of happens when it's just you taking care of plants, and I take care of the plants, then they look better in a couple days than what they did before I took care of them. And so that kind of starts changing when we have to start saying goodbye to them. Also, like on the weekends, people come in, like my sister and my mom, to do a little work in the mornings usually, but then I have usually the afternoons of this place all to myself, which is really peaceful and really calm. But I mean, we're open 7 days a week starting on Thursday, so I'm going to lose my little center of calm, but I will still have my evenings, so that'll be nice. I'll be happy about that. So that's been it's kind of interesting because I love when the customers come, but at the same time it totally changes the way we have to think and kind of the way we have to be ready, because you have to be able to answer questions and you have to kind of lead people through their choices, and we have to make sure everything looks good. And that's the other thing, like when customers aren't here, if there's some plants that are looking a little shabby, we can kind of leave them where they are and just see if they improve. But if they don't look good, we usually try to take them off the benches so people don't have to see them. So there's been a lot of plants moving around. We try to put, like the nicest ones in the premier spots, just because we know that anything that's flowering is going to sell faster. And, we got to capitalize on that because, some of the things are just harder sells otherwise, or we just want people to just fall in love with these plants as well. So a lot of times when it comes to just the public shopping, they need to see it in order for them to fall in love with it. So we want to make sure that they don't miss anything that's looking good. So it's such a different time of year now, like it's all about getting stuff out of the place rather than what's coming in. So it's a transition. I love it, but I've been so go, go, go and stuff, more and more product coming in. And now we have to start thinking of, what do the customers need, and where do we have to put stuff, and how do we organize this, and how do we make sure that customers are maneuvering through this place safely and we can get their orders or their plants to their car and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a whole different batch of priorities. And so just kind of interesting. So I thought I'd share that. I have a couple other things to share with you. So there were a couple things that came in the mail for me this week. So I recorded that. So I'll show you guys that. And then after I do that, I'll probably jump over. I did a little walkthrough of the perennial house that I put up on Facebook for our customers who were coming to the pop-up. So I'll just put that up there. It just was kind of a rough and ready kind of video that I did. I didn't put any pictures up, or I didn't put any kind of labeling or anything like that. So it's just kind of real quick. And it does talk about the pop-up sale that has passed. It was on Thursday and Saturday. But I think you guys might like to see that, just because you might get some ideas of some perennials that you might want. And all the perennials that I talk about are pretty much, they're all going to be zone 5 or lower. A lot of them are lower than 5. So if you're in zone 5, you won't have any problems. If you're zone 4, there'll be a couple plants you'll have to check to make sure that they're not, that they're hardy for your zone. But otherwise, that should be pretty good. So thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. There's been a lot of comments, a lot of new subscribers too. And a lot of you new subscribers maybe have never been in the dirt bag with me. This is just a little chat that I do. I've been trying to do it every week. So it's just kind of nice to be able to just talk about whatever. It's also kind of a place where I can throw in things that maybe I don't want to do a full video on. So it's just really more for the most loyal of viewers, because these are the ones that I think the loyal people tend to watch. People who are here for just pretty flowers all the time, I think maybe they may or may not watch. I'm not sure. So thank you guys again. Again, keep commenting, because it is so nice to have those comments. You guys have really been so supportive through all this, and I definitely appreciate it. And things have gotten much better since the storm. I didn't mention the storm last week because I had so many videos about the storm. A lot of people are, still kind of getting back together after the ice storm that we had. It was pretty incredible. I think most people have their power. I think there maybe are still a couple people that don't have power, so they're going on 3 weeks or longer. So that's rough. But most people, and anybody I know, has their power back on. So a lot of people still don't have their internet and things like that. Some phone lines are still in trouble, but I think people are able to manage around that kind of thing much easier than they are with power. So thanks for watching. I will see you guys all very, very soon. So I had some canna bulbs arrive this week. Now I have to admit, I fell for a sale and a special. Park Seed, who I've ordered some seeds from, they had sent me one of those emails that said like, oh, we've got free shipping and a discount and all this stuff like that. And I was ordering some extra seeds, and I thought, well, I might as well throw on some of these canna, because they're these varieties that I really, really wanted. But even with the sale and the free shipping, they were so expensive. I do not know what I was thinking, but that's okay. I got to deal with it. And I also was thinking like, oh, they're going to come next week. And I think I ordered them over a month ago. Well, the seeds arrived right away, but it was too cold to ship these. I wrote them even, and they said, oh, it's way too cold for us to ship these. It's too risky. And I think canna bulbs are actually rhizomes, right? I can't always remember. So first one I got was the canna Tropicanna regular. So I think this one is kind of a bright red or reddy orange one, but the Tropicanna series have these incredible variegated leaves. I remember I saw them in Racine, Wisconsin at Milliger's, and I was so impressed with how those things looked. They were so beautiful. And so I definitely wanted some more. Okay, so I think I need to get a bigger pot than this, because this is going to outgrow this super fast. So let me get something bigger, and we'll come back. Hey, that's a good thing. I'm glad they're big bulbs, or rhizomes. Now this is more like it. I'll be able to fit these in. Now I realized that I had actually read the tag wrong. The other one was a different color. So this one is the Tropicanna regular, which is, I think, the red one. So I'm going to put this one in. Now what I like to do with these is, they say to bury them about 3 inches deep, which would be about here. Actually it'd be more down here, but I like to give them a little room for the roots down there. So I usually end up just planting them halfway down in my pot, and that's worked for me before. Now I haven't worked from the rhizomes before. I've usually gotten the ones that are plugs, which are started from seed, so it might be a little different story, but I think they'll be fine. I don't want to start them out in like a 5-gallon pail. Plus I want to make sure that they take. So here we go. The regular one for Tropicanna is in, and then the next one I'll do, this is the one that I originally opened up. This is the Tropicanna Yellow, and what I love about this one, it has these beautiful kind of golden leaves. They're green and beautiful striping on them, really beautiful, great flowers, and I really do love them. But man, I gotta tell you, I guess I must have just been like way too excited about plants and seeds and flowers when I ordered these, because these are so much more expensive than what I should have spent for them. I mean, this, especially because I know this week I'm heading to Chicago Liam and I have an art show in Elmhurst, Illinois at Wilder Park. And so we're going to be heading down that way. And in the past, I've seen the Tropicannas available at Milliger's in Milwaukee, or Racine rather. They're in Racine, Wisconsin, and they were always really huge and really beautiful when I saw them. So I'm like, oh, and I bet they were $28, but they were large. Meanwhile, guess what I paid for these? Tropicanna Gold, $19.95. So I spent $20 on the Tropicanna Gold. I spent $18 on the Tropicanna regular red one. That's a lot, especially because it's going to take a while for these things to take off. So I don't know. I really just kind of fell into it. I'm not sure what I was thinking when I bought those, but you know how it is. You guys are probably doing the same thing. You bought things that you weren't supposed to buy. I feel like this one's a little still close to the top, but I'll just add a little more soil. We'll just compensate for it that way. And then the last one that I have is called Cleopatra, and I loved this one last year. I had got it just at the drugstore down the street from us, and I loved it because the leaves had this really unique striping on it, and then the flowers ended up being kind of bicolor, but it was really random. So the leaf, they'd be green with this kind of reddish burgundy color striping, completely random, and the flowers, part of it would be yellow, part of it would be red. I thought it was really beautiful. Thankfully, this one has 3 rhizomes in it, because this one was really expensive. I spent $29 on these 3. So that's, oh boy. I'm relieved though that this one has the 3 plants, because that is a little better. To get 3 of them for almost $30, $10 each. Still, they're just the rhizomes. Like, I got to do all the work, and they're still tiny. If they were bigger, you always got to consider what it would cost for the actual plant. Now I'm guessing, yeah, so this is up, I think, yeah, because there's eyes coming up right there. So we'll get this one in. I'm putting these in smaller ones just because they're smaller as it is, and I just feel like I could get away with that for a little while. They will all be transplanted in something bigger. Sorry, it just seems to be easier if I have it start with a little bit more empty, because I do want to make sure that I get these down a little bit. Okay, one more down. So this is my story on canna. I don't know that I have any special tips. Like I said, I've only grown the ones that we got in as plugs, so I don't really have some really good tips for you on this, unfortunately, but it's all good. And I'll keep you guys posted and let you know how they turn out. I hope these grow quickly and look great very, very soon, because canna are quickly becoming one of my favorite plants, because they're easy to grow, for one thing, at least when they're already plug size. And again, those are started from seed, I believe. Then hopefully these will do well for me too, and I'll be able to really enjoy more canna this year, because I needed more canna in my life. Hey everybody, welcome to Greenhouse 7, where we're keeping most of our perennials, and we are pretty much packed to the gills here. And we're all really excited about these plants because they look so good. So excited that we're going to actually do a little pop-up preview and sale this Thursday from 3 to 6, this Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. And all of these plants are going to be available for sale, but if you just want to come out and look, you're welcome to do it. So I thought I'd give you a little peek at what we've got, see what's blooming, and I guess I'll point out some of the new varieties and some of my favorite varieties too. Okay, down over here we have some of the chick charms. So these are sempervivum. Most of them are at least hardy to zone 5. Some are even more hardy than that. Ice plant, another zone 5 hardy plant. They're starting to bloom. These are great succulents, so they do really well in the heat, and you don't have to water them a whole lot. Then also check out the hollyhocks. I mean, some of these are enormous. We also have some in the smaller size as well, but the kind of more interesting, unusual colors are those giant ones there. Lots of lilies, so some of them are just starting to come up. Some of them have buds already, so good mix. Really unusual colors this year, so we're kind of excited about, especially in the ones that are back over there. So they're probably going to only have one stem this year, but over the next couple years, you're going to see a big difference in how many stalks you're going to get. This is all echinacea, coneflowers. It's really packed in here. We don't have a lot of room, so hopefully we can start making some more room so that we can space them out a little bit more. Some lichmas. These are some of the daisies. We have quite a few of the proven winter varieties, and those are starting to bloom. But we also have some of the old standards. So we have like Madonna, and I think there might be Alaska in here as well. This sweet daisy birdie is a brand new one. So this one is supposed to be one of the earliest to bloom, and we had planted this one up really tiny, and it's been in a kind of colder environment, and it is really starting to bloom early. A bunch of other plants as well. So a lot of the Heliopsis and Helianthus, those won't start blooming for a little while yet, but really looking great. Oh, check out, this is some of the, what is it, globe flower. The cheddar is the color, but just starting to bloom, has a nice little white flower. Monarda as well, also known as bee balm. So that's a nice plant to have in there. A lot of allium, and then catmint. And this is the candy catmint, which is a little bit different than the other ones. I really like how this one grows. It has a big flower on it. Looks really nice. Let's see, some hummingbird mint and some other plants as well. The gaillardia has already started blooming. Some salvias. This is a new one called Blue Bayou, and this one gets really nice and big. Now, in these small pots, they're kind of growing with one stalk. Once this kind of finishes blooming, if you cut it off, you can see there's lots of new growth down there. So that's going to all start to take off. Oh, Louisia. This is one of my favorites too. It gets these beautiful little kind of pink, peachy flowers as well. And this year we have a new variety with some new colors as well. And this alyssum, this is great if you have a sunny, dry spot. This is one that you don't want to overwater, and these flowers just keep going and going. I think we had flowers at the end of July last year with that one. Some artemisia. Let's see. Lots of plants. I mean, there's just so many things. This is, they call it tritoma. It's a type of Nyphophia, and this one is a zone 5. A lot of the other ones are zone 6 and 7, but it's not necessarily the most hardy, so depending on your location, it may or may not take. So if you're zone 6, you're going to be safe probably, but it can be a little tricky. A lot of campanula in here, lots of lobelia, the cardinal flower, Veronica's in here. I mean, there's so much. This is a new variety for us. So it's a type of penstemon, and it's the Bejeweled series from Proven Winners, and there's 2 colors, and they're starting to put out their buds already. So that's going to be an exciting one to see. This whole table is almost all delphiniums. So delphiniums are one of those plants that some years they cancel a lot of them on us. So we were really happy that we got this many this year. Some tick seed or coreopsis in here. Take a look at the dianthus. They're really starting to bloom for us. Looking really, really good. So happy to have those on board. Some of the sedums are here. Not all of our sedums are ready yet, but these are the ones that are. The Sun Sparkler series is really nice. Usually we carry these in the really larger size, but it's nice because these are only $7. So, you know, you can get that plant that's going to get nice and big for a little bit less. And then some verbascum, which is getting ready to bloom. Actually, look, we have some blooms already. We don't usually carry verbascum. We wanted to try it. It's beautiful. So some of them we pinched and some of them we didn't, just because we know people a lot of times like to see the flower on them. A lot of the coreopsis started blooming too. So this is also columbine. Oh, I love the flowers on those. Check out these yellow ones. They are just being profuse bloomers. A lot of times with the yellow ones, we'll get some reblooms, some of the other colors as well. So I love that. These are all butterfly bushes. So we got quite a mix in here. And then what else should I show you? Rudbeckia is in this area as well. So lots of Rudbeckia. Rudbeckia is going to be coming on a little bit later in this season. And then I'll come back over here. We do have some horseradish and some rhubarb. We don't carry a lot of vegetables and things like that and edible stuff, but these we do because they're a little harder to come by. We get some grasses and clematis. Some of the clematis are blooming. So that's nice. Check out all these different types of grasses. Really, really nice. This area here, these are all creeping phlox kind of in this area, and then garden phlox down on this end. Perennial geraniums as well. So you can see this one here, Roseanne's already starting to bloom. So is that one. I think that's Boom Chocolata. It has that beautiful kind of purpley violet color. So We even have a couple of our hardy hibiscus starting to emerge. We have just a couple of them in here because we don't want them to get ahead of themselves, because they are a little, they're kind of finicky with the frost, so they don't usually emerge until June 1st. So if anybody were to buy one of these, we would advise them to just kind of keep it in a warmer, protected area. Don't let it get frozen. And look what's happening with this. I think it's called Ericium. It's called Irresistible Bronze Rose. New plant for us this year, and it is a zone 5. We've never grown it before, but it is just blooming like crazy, and it's such an unusual flower. Great color on it. We also have some of the Montauk daisy, and then a lot of daylilies as well. Poppies are starting to bloom over here. So these are the Icelandic poppies over here, you know, this area here. And so those are early bloomers. The other ones bloom relatively early, but not quite. Now there's some violas here, and then there's more violas all along that bench. And then lots of lupin or lupine. And you can see some of those are starting to get their flower stalks as well. And then asters are in here. That's a goat's beard, Aruncus. Oh, we got some of the Amsonia blooming. I think this is the storm cloud or stormburst. What is it? Yeah, storm cloud, Russian sage. Oh boy, there's just so much. And then here are some of the primroses. Look at this unusual color here. Got that striped blue, but there's a lot of other colors as well. Let's pop back up here. So here are more of the shade varieties. So there's some Ligularia in here, as well as lots of colors of hellebores. Now, a lot of the hellebores have bloomed, but you can see the ones that haven't are absolutely gorgeous. But I encourage you to look at the tags at any of these, because the flowers on them are really unusual. They're going to bloom for you next season. So it's worth taking a look at these. But we do have some that are definitely in bloom. So that's going to be nice for you guys to be able to see them. Lady's mantle, a lot of ferns. And then we're getting into some of like Persicarias in here. These are Brunera. So if you have deer problems, Brunera is a really good one for you to try. We even have a variety with a white flower. Usually you're going to see it has more of this kind of light blue forget-me-not flower. Polymonium or Polonium, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even trying to say it anymore. And then this is the Pulmonaria. So you can see those tend to have those really unusual speckled leaves, and then they get some nice flowers. And actually here's another one. So you can see the difference in the leaves, and you can see these flowers are almost finished. Here's some of the fuga, also snake root. Lots of astilbe in here. And then I'm really excited about some of this Virginia. So this one here is called Peppermint Patty. It's a new color, and the flowers on Virginia tend to last a really long time. These are kind of coming to the end. It has this really waxy leaf, and it makes that noise when you rub it. I'm not getting the noise off it quite as much. And this one over here is darker, called Miss Piggy. Lots of bleeding hearts, so lots of the traditional kind of old-fashioned kind, but also these varieties here, like white diamonds and pink diamonds, these can usually handle a lot more sun, and they tend to rebloom a lot more, and you'll have flowers a little bit longer on these newer varieties. This is the Celandine Poppy. What is it also called? It has another name, Stylophorum, something like that. So this one tends to like shadier, wetter areas. It's got that buttercup look to it. There's lots of other plants in here too. Some foxglove, the Hanakaloa grass. I love the beautiful kind of golden color. So there's one that's more variegated and one that's more yellow. This is the Princess Diana or Princess of Wales Clematis. That's such a beautiful one. Check out all the heuchera. I mean, we are looking really good in the heuchera department. You can see some of them are blooming. Some are going to bloom a little later. Some of them are rebloomers. So I got to move this cart out of my way to get to these other ones. Ooh, lots of peony as well. There's several colors of peony down here. So this white one's getting ready to bloom. But then we also have some iris that are ready to bloom. They're just kind of getting ready to burst. Check that out. This is the Aurelia Sun King. That's a really nice shade plant as well. Some of the Baptisia is coming out. That's a really nice plant. You can see we're starting to get flowers started on those, and those last a pretty long time as well. And then let's pop on over. Now usually we kind of try to put the heuchera that can handle more full sun kind of on this end here. So do check the tags, because some of the heuchera, also called coral bells, can handle full sun. Some of them can't. Some of them can do really, do well in full shade. even more of the columbine. So this is just so nice to see. And this acanthus, this is just looking great. Ouch, it's pokey, watch out. Sorry, I should have known that. And then this is some lamb's ear in here. Then we have some hardy mums too. And now's a great time to get some hardy mums in the ground. They tend to bloom earlier than like the fall mums that you get. But if you wanted to, when you start to see flower buds blooming, usually by July 1st, you're going to see them. We snip them off, and then they'll produce new blooms, and you'll get those blooms more in September. This way, you're probably going to get them more in August, is how that usually works. At least that's how it's been for us in the past. Tons of other plants to choose from, so it's just crazy how much we have. So we got a bunch of colors of these wave pansy baskets, and these are not perennial, but they are very cold hardy. So they could get down to a freeze and they'd be just fine. You can also just protect them if it does get really cold, but these don't mind the cold at all. We're also trying something new. These are all strawberry baskets. So we have two different varieties. One's called Berries Galore Pink, and the other one I think is called Lipstick. And these are ever-bearing strawberries, so you will get fruit off of them. I don't remember, we don't really know for sure. I think the fruit might be a little bit small, but they're really known for having these beautiful pink flowers on them that kind of keep coming throughout the season. So it's just a nice little extra thing. Also, we did create a bit of a spreadsheet that has the location of all these plants, and because we know it's hard to find stuff in here, and we don't have them like in some kind of magic alphabetical order. We have some in the the shade plants in the shade, the sun in the sun. And so what we've done is we've labeled all our benches. So it starts with A, goes all the way to M down there, and then comes back around, or I think M might actually start there and goes to X over here. So you be able to find that bench, and then anything that's in the middle will there's kind of a dividing line. So A through M mid, and then the later ones are going to be, and they'll be all labeled as mid on our spreadsheet. So I'll make that available to you in the description or in the comments. I'll make sure that there's a link to that spreadsheet. So if you want to do a little homework so that when you get here, you kind of know where you want to spend your time, should be pretty easy to do. Otherwise, the big question that we get is it too early for us to plant these out? Now, I do want you to remember that these have been pampered a little bit here in the greenhouse, so they're not as cold hardy as the ones that we have out in our yard already. So we do have to be a little careful. I would recommend if you buy any of these, just keep them in their pots for another couple weeks, and then you can plant them out. Now you could put them in the ground and they'll be fine. They might get a little bit of shock if we have some cold weather. Definitely though, if we're getting say below 35 or in that range, you might want to cover them or make sure that you bring them in. So I would keep them outside, but then on those colder days, you might want to just have 40 as your kind of mindset. If it gets below 40 at night, I'm going to bring them into the garage overnight, then bring them back out during the day. That'll help acclimate them to the outside, as well as keep them safe, because a really cold snap could really do a number on them for here in northern Michigan. So hope to see you guys on Thursday from 3 to 6 or Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. And we'll be here. We're looking forward to having you guys come by, and we are so excited to show you all these plants because everything's looking really good right now. We also are going to have some trees blooming. Maybe I should show you those. Those came in. We didn't want them to be blooming when they arrived, but they were, so we have those. If you want to purchase one of those, that I would recommend don't let them freeze because they've leafed out already. They have flowers on them. We just don't want them to freeze, so I wouldn't plant those out quite yet. That's kind of just something I wanted to make sure and point out. Otherwise, hey, talk to you guys all very, very soon.